thing I'm going to call what you should know, but you might not know about living here in the Villages, Florida. This episode, I'm filming in New York. I have a lot of time to kill, and I don't realize how much I run around and keep myself occupied that I've come to my mom's house and I don't have anywhere to go, so I take things to do to keep myself occupied. So I thought I would I'm taking my realtor hat and I got my cowboy hat on because it is cold up here now. It's like 50 and I'm freezing. But I wanted to give you my opinions on living in the Villages. I've been here now, it'll be 4 years in August. And just some random thoughts, observations, and also I'm going to try not to give you my perspective from a realtor, but as a resident. All right, just on a quick note, I am Robyn Cavallaro. I am a licensed realtor here in the state of Florida. I do have a book all about the buying and selling process, things you need to know, and you can get it on Amazon. And also, I got to give a plug to my merch store, PB Zone 40. I have a lot of designs on there that are pickleball related, as well as a lot of colorful, cool stuff, some photographs of things that I've done. So you want to take a look at that. All right, so number one, and this isn't in any order of importance, so just bear with me. People ask me, my opinion about the different areas in the Villages and what I think. So, and this is my parents' house in the background. So this is what I think. I think that from my perspective, I live south of 44 and I love it there. I think that for my lifestyle, it works. I do a lot of things outside of the Villages. So it's easy access for me to get to the Turnpike in 75. My daughter lives in Claremont. My son lives in Newport Richey, and being close to those two major highways really helps me get to them without having to spend an extra half an hour. Because I lived up near Sumter Landing, it would take me a lot longer. There is new construction. I mean, that's all where the new stuff is going on. I think it's a really great investment because in the next 5 years, we're going to get a lot of amenities. We really don't have anything south of 44 right now. There's Publix, coffee shop just opened, there's a brunch restaurant, and I'll talk about my opinion of restaurants here in a minute. But, and I'm gonna have to keep switching this camera because this thing is heavy, believe it or not, and I can't find anything to hold it. Yeah, so there's not much retail. There's Sawgrass, there's a couple, there's that market, but there's, as far as shopping goes, you have to go up to 441, which probably takes me about half an hour, or you have to go to Leesburg, and I would not shop at that Walmart in Leesburg. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I've been in there. No, I would go up to 441. So if for long term, I think it's a great location. Everything is newer. It has all of the newest, latest, and greatest in interiors. When you move up to north of 466, the homes are older, but a lot of them are getting remodeled. So, Realtor Robyn, you get your better buys up there. And the homes are getting remodeled. There's no bond. But north of 466, they don't have as many rec centers or pools. Villages started to get smart with that, and they built more as they built further south. So again, north of 466, better buys, and you're gonna find a lot of remodeled homes. Once you get down near Sumter Landing, everybody wants Sumter Landing. They love it there, and it is pretty cool. That lake is really nice. Those homes are starting to get remodeled. They were built in the early 2000s, so some might need roof, some might not. So you gotta pick and choose there, but of course, if you're looking to be a snowbird and you want to be in the middle of everything, that between the sixes is really an ideal spot. And there's a lot of shopping. There's Publix every 5 feet, and I'm going to talk about supermarkets, so stay tuned. the golf, pickleball, tennis, rec centers, pools, there's so many right in that between the Sixes area. And I think if you're looking to buy an investment property and you want to make sure, you know, you get it rented, the closer it is to a square more all year round, then, and we're switching. Hey, I'm gonna give my shoulders a workout today. South of 466A, well, those homes are probably 10 years old, so they're starting to get ready for a remodel. A lot of them are not. So you're gonna find a little bit older style, you know, except for that Fruitland Park section, because that's like 2015, 2016. But yeah, so you just have to, you know, and I think Brownwood's probably a little bit more on the expensive side right now. Bonds are higher, they're not paid off. But I think Brownwood's pretty cool. So you have to think about that. And again, then we have south of 44. Now my side of the turnpike, I think, is the best section because we're gonna be on the same side of the turnpike as Eastport. But I think that Fenny, Marsh Bend is so pretty with the big trees and the walking paths. So I really do urge you, if you're coming down to consider where you want to live, take a ride around, make sure you're with somebody, whether it's a relative, somebody that lives there, or a realtor, that they show you everywhere so you kind of get a feel of what's going on there. So that's my 2 cents about where to live. I pick south of 44. But let's talk about the town squares. The town squares are busy in high season. January, February, March, it's packed. But what some people don't know when they're just driving through, yeah, the center of the square gets really packed, but in behind all of the buildings, they look like they're offices. A lot of them are just shops, whatever. There's parking in and around the area. Oh, I am going to tell you a funny story about somebody not being able to find their golf cart and how the loofah came about. Stay tuned for that. All right, so there's always parking at all the squares in behind the retail, so you have a place to park. It does get crowded, and you know, during the winter, it gets dark early, so people are lining up their carts early. Restaurants get packed, you need reservations, and I mean, you're talking about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, the carts are lining up. My phone's ringing. I'm just gonna finish this thought and take it. I'm back. Sorry, that was real estate talk. Okay, so the town squares, the parking, restaurants get crowded in season, out of season, not so much. Also, when it gets cold, they don't have music. I think it's like 40 degrees, and then they cancel the music. And of course, if it's raining, there's no music. But you know, this is my opinion about the squares. A lot of people want to come and move to be near the square, but when you're here all the time, you end up going less than you would if you're here for a short period of time. So if you're a long-term resident, just kind of think about where you want to live. Doesn't always have to be near the square, but it's always, like, whenever my granddaughter comes up, I always bring her because she has fun. And I got smart because I used to take her to Brownwood, and all I did was run up and down those steps. So I took her to Sawgrass last time. So I didn't have to do the steps, so I was pretty smart. But it's a great place to bring family and friends when they're in town. You know, the music, the restaurants will always have music. Even if they have it in the square, they have restaurant music during the day. Everybody has, you know, happy hour specials. I think it's happy hour all day long. 2 for 1. Here's what you need to know. When you get a 2 for 1 special, they're bringing you both drinks at the same time. Yeah, when I order a beer, I don't want both beers at the same time. So if you're with someone else and you're gonna drink the same thing, get one, split it, and then order a second one. I know, that was the price of, worth the price of admission, huh? So, okay, oh my God, I gotta find some. I'm gonna move in a little bit and film somewhere else because this has hurt my arm. All right, here's my opinion about the food. So I'm a cook. I come from Italian people, and if we're not eating food, we're talking about what we're gonna eat next. Thinking about food. So for me, I like good food. I don't mind paying for good food. I find the food in the villages is okay. And I'm sorry, people out there, I don't think there's anything to write home about. It's acceptable. But in the restaurant's defense, having been in the restaurant business, they're providing the residents with what they're looking for. People want chicken fingers, flatbreads, sandwiches, because they're eating out multiple times a day. So, you know, I do have a couple favorites, and I will tell you, I like Americanos up in Spanish Springs. I think their food is really good. It's on that Mediterranean side. They have, I was up there, I had lunch with Ira Miller, and I got the chicken kebab. I thought it was pretty good. They have falafel, and I'm into that kind of stuff. But they have, you know, burgers and fries and steaks and whatever. I like Paisanos. That's Italian. That's down by Rohan. I think their Italian food is really good. And actually, there's a little, I don't want to say divey place, but just a little local joint called Stavros, and that's in Fruitland Park on 441. You should give that a try. But yeah, the Sunny Pint, that's a brew pub. It's my neighbor. He's lived next to us forever. I've known him since I was a baby. As far as my mind can remember, that man and his family have been in our lives. That's the kind of community I lived in. It's a very small town. But anyway, I'm going to talk about my upbringing, and my parents' home in another video. But back to food. Yeah, so I think there are a lot of great places to eat in Ocala, out in Orlando, Tampa, and they're not that far. You know, there's this cool place called Crump's Landing out in Homosassa. Great, just local joint. There's the Freezer in Homosassa. So I challenge everyone to venture out. There's a great place in Wesley Chapel called Crate. It's all shipping containers, restaurants. So there's so many different things to experience. Just once in a while, get out. The food, again, is acceptable. I don't eat out much in the villages just because, now, like I said, I had a restaurant, and I'm not a trained chef, but I'm pretty good in the kitchen. And to me, I like interesting food. I don't go out and order steak because I can throw steak on the grill. But, so if you're moving here looking for exciting food in the villages, I see you might be a little disappointed. But again, they're providing what the people are looking for. So, and you have to remember, those people pay a lot of money in rent to have a business in the villages. And from what I've heard, now I haven't seen a lease, but they have to give portions of their gross back to the developer. So it costs a lot of money to have a restaurant in the villages. They're doing the best they can. All right, so next, what is my opinion? Oh, this is a good, all right, sorry about that. When I got home and started to edit that video, I realized it was a monster. So this is the end of part 1. Part 2 will come out in 2 days. So make sure you stay tuned to find out what other ramblings I have about living here in the villages, and do I regret it? All right, until next time, I gotta get my hair done today. I'll see ya.